What we're going to do is continue with rules for radicals. We're going to be looking at how to change radical form into exponential form, and we're going to do the reverse. We're going to change exponential form into radical form. What we need to recognize is that when we have an exponent, the numerator is our exponent, the denominator is a radical. So when we're looking at example 1, we're going to change the radical form into exponential form. With a square root, we could kind of think of it as a 2 inside. So what we have is 3xy squared z cubed, and that right there is to the 1/2 power. So we're going to distribute the 1/2 to each of the terms. So that would be 3 to the 1/2, x to the 1/2, y to the 2/2, which of course is 1, or you can just put y, and then we have z to the 3/2, and that's exponential form. For the next one, what we have is 8 to the 1/3, we have x to the 4/3, we have y to the 1/3, and we have z to the 6/3. Now, 8 to the 1/3 is 2. We can't simplify the x, so we just keep it as 4/3. Y is the same, we keep it as 1/3, and 6/3 is the same thing as 2. For letter C, we're going to do the same thing. So what we have is, since it's a root of 4, we have 2x to the 3rd, y, z to the 6th, and we're raising it to the 1/4. So that would be 2 to the 1/4. Then what we have is x to the 3/4, and then we have y to the 1/4. And then what we have is z to the 6/4, which of course reduces to 3/2. Now what we're going to do for example 2 is we're going to change exponential form into radical form. So since this is 1/2, we're going to change it to a square root, and we're going to put 2xy squared. Now we can't simplify 2 and x, but the square root of y squared is just y, so our final answer is y square root of 2x. For letter B, this is a 1/3, so what we're going to do is we're going to write a cube root. We have 27, x to the 6th, y to the 2nd. The cube root of 27 is 3. The cube root of x to the 6th would be x squared. And there is no cube root of y squared, so we keep that inside the cube root. Now for letter C, what we have is a square and a cube root. So I'm going to write it as the cube root. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to square it. 3x to the 3rd, y to the 4th, z. And we're squaring this. So when we square it, we get 9, x to the 6th, y to the 8th, z to the 2nd. Now, we can't simplify 9, so we keep it inside the cube root. Cube root of x to the 6th is x squared. The cube root of y to the 8th is y squared, and the z stays as z squared. Now, just to clarify about the y, if we're finding the cube root, and y to the 8th means that there are 8 y's. Now, in order to get something out of a cube root, what we're going to do is we're going to take the 3 y's, and we're able to pull out one of the y's. Then we take another 3 because it's a cube root, and we're able to pull out another y. So if you look at that, 2 y's gives us the y squared. And notice that there's 2 y's remaining, and that's why it's y squared.